I always tell people air a portion of it while your product's on the water, because I don't care what it costs. It's going to cost me way more if it goes out of rank or if it goes out of stock.
Lunch with Neha. Lunch with Neha. Lunch with Neha. Lunch with
Hey everyone, it's Norm Farrar, aka the Beard Guy here, and welcome to another Lunch with Norm, the e-commerce and Amazon FBA podcast. Today, we're going to be discussing automating sales in Amazon. We're also going to be discussing what tools brands and agencies need right now. What kinds of insights do brands need in 2023, 2024, and how Amazon brands optimize their marketplace management and increase sales and profitability. Welcome to another Lunch with Norm, the e-commerce and Amazon FBA podcast. Okay, like I mentioned, automating sales on Amazon. Our guest is the founder of Marketplace Copilot, Adam 11. She has led sales product account management functions at Amazon Advertising. She's worked with over 300 brands and helped brands increase sales with her unique, holistic approach to e-commerce. Now she is bringing the same approach to her PPC automation company, Adam 11. And first time guest, we're welcoming Neha Bhuchar. But before we get to Neha, we're going to be talking to a sponsor, or not talking to, but we'll provide a sponsor. Facing cash flow challenges with your e-commerce business? Discover Viably, your ultimate financial ally. From real-time sales data integrations to immediate funding access, Viably is here to support you. Plan your growth with their free tool for online sellers and engage with specialists whenever you need. Extend your cash flow with Viably. So sit back, relax, grab a cup of coffee, and let's welcome Neha.
Hello, Norm.
Hello, how are you?
I'm very good. How are you?
I'm still waking up, I think.
Yeah. You know, I must tell you. So I'm on the other side of the globe,
Yep.
and I woke up 12 or I don't know 15 hours ago.
Oh,
So slightly ahead of you.
whereabouts are you?
I'm in India, Bangalore.
Oh my gosh. So
Yeah, that's far.
it's pretty late there right now.
I think we work late, so I guess this is fine. This is normal hours for us.
My
Working hours.
I have a my right arm Vandana or Wandana. I always call her Vandana, but
Okay.
uh, over there too, and she's flying back to India. She's been over here for about 3 months, so she's just getting off the plane in a few hours. So be nice. You know what? She was on the West Coast. She went over to Seattle. I found it
Uh-huh.
harder to communicate with her on the West Coast than it was in India.
Yeah.
It's she works Eastern time, but she had to
Yeah.
get up that much earlier over there, and she found it really hard.
Yeah, this time, oh my God, it's just so easy because, during the day you can just work. And then during the night, you can just talk to your customers. So
Yeah.
we're like working 24/7.
Well, this is great. I'm glad we could talk.
Thank you.
There's companies out there that you just never know about. You don't know about because there's so many. And your company, I got some information on. I thought, well, this would be really great, to have you on the podcast. So let's dig into it. I like the idea in your bio. I'm just going to go back to it. Is that you like taking a holistic approach to e-commerce? Can you
I
explain
wanted
that?
to I wanted to pause for just 1 second because I was just telling Kelsey backstage, I have a message from my son for you, Norm.
Uh-oh.
I have a 3-year-old.
Yeah.
And he is crazy after your Lunch with Norm music. So he
Oh,
comes to me every single time and he would be like, "Can you say Lunch with Norm?" And I'd be like, "Lunch with Norm." And he'd be like, "Lunch with Norm, Lunch with Norm, Lunch with Norm, Lunch with Norm." He just goes crazy because I listen to your podcast when I'm like, doing some chores, right?
yeah.
So I don't know how he came across your music. So he was like, "Can you please tell him that I love that music?" So I was like, "Sure, I will." Like, he's gone so crazy. He's just going out to people and asking them people who have nothing to do with e-commerce are having to sing the Lunch with Norm song.
That's
So he's a
hilarious.
fan. He's a fan. So he just wanted me to let you know.
Oh, well, you know what? We have M&Ms, Lunch with Norm M&Ms. So I would love to get
Oh,
some over to him.
oh my God, he is going to go crazy. He is.
Oh,
It was his sleep times, but he was like, I just kind of barely put him to bed. I was like, okay, I have to go. So, but he would have loved talking to you.
oh, that's fantastic.
Awesome. Let's get back. I'm sorry for the detour, but I had to
No,
pass
no,
on
that's
this one.
hilarious. So what I was
Awesome.
talking about was in your bio, you talk about holistic approach to e-commerce. Can you explain that a bit?
Yeah. So prior to starting Atom 11,
Mhm.
I worked with Amazon for about 6 years. I was a very, very early member at the Amazon advertising team. And I led sales teams, account management teams, and product teams while I was there. Um, while I was leading account management teams, what we found was that most account managers, they work advertising backwards. So it's all about, bids, increase your bids, reduce it, so on and so forth. But the brands and the agencies are not talking advertising backwards. They're talking sales backwards. Hey, I need to increase my sales in this quarter. I need to do this. I need to do that. Right. So there was a very big miscommunication or a communication gap between us or my team, which is the account management team, and brands and agencies. So what we started doing was we started collaborating with retail teams, so category managers at Amazon, and then looking at um, competition data, inventory data, pricing data before we started taking actions on advertising. And this is how my teams were actually able to do two things. One, have a much better communication with a brand that they were talking to, because now they were talking the language of the brand. Brand understands sales, right? And so does the agency.
Mhm.
And of course, number two was a much, much better advertising strategy. Let me give you one small example, right? Um, Increase your bids and budgets when your competition has increased their pricing, because less people, they are going to be reducing their conversion, right? Less people are going to buy a higher priced product, so
Right.
you have a chance, right? So that was one. um, Reduce your advertising bids and budgets when you are low stock. I mean, everyone knows that Amazon pauses your ads when you go out of stock, but why do you have to wait and keep your sales velocity high when you know you're low stock? So we actually started doing, unscalable things, and saw how the brands were actually able to capitalize on advertising much, much better. So this approach was called the holistic e-commerce approach, because we were looking at so many different things before we were taking actions on advertising.
That
Um, and
those
this
are
just kind of caught on.
yeah, those are two very interesting strategies. I absolutely love your first strategy. The second one is a bit controversial because I hear both sides of it. I hear if you keep your prices high, lower the sales velocity as you're going out. Okay, this is it. This is it. And what you were saying wasn't to raise your price to go to slow your sales velocity, but just adjust your bids. Is that correct?
Oh, yes. So what we did was pricing um, is in the brand's arena. So my team was basically account management for advertising. So we could take um, signals from multiple places and then do something about that in ads.
Hmm.
But the rest of the things the brand has to do. So my
Right.
team was not actually, yeah. So it was, okay, you could also call it retail aware advertising, right? So you were very, very aware of what's happening with your competition, what's happening with your inventory, what's happening with your own pricing, so on and so forth.
Okay.
Um,
Can I ask you about this because I've heard a variety of different things. Maybe you have the answer, maybe you don't. But I've heard to keep your sales history up to date, like to have more efficient sales history, you want to blow out the last of your inventory very quickly. So this is what I've heard, okay? That instead of, let's say, 75% of the people that I hear talk about this say increase your price to slow down your sales velocity, so
Yeah.
you can so when you do go out of stock, you have that little bit of a time gap. On the other side, I hear 25% saying blow out as fast as you can, because what you want is that sales history, that sales velocity to be as high as it can. So when you bring your stock back, it sees your sales history, your past sales history, and it shows that you were selling quite high. Like you had a higher velocity, so it'll rank you better. What do you think about those two?
So there are two different schools of
Yeah,
thought, but I'll tell you from my experience at Amazon, being there, understanding what are the algorithms like at Amazon. Amazon penalizes you for going out of stock.
right.
So automatically, I actually don't know what the school of thought or what the um, what the logic behind blow out your sales is, because as soon as you go out of stock, Amazon is not going to let you come back to page number 1 for the next 3-4 days once you come back to stock, right? It is penalizing you for each day that you're out of stock. That's the reason why there is inventory demand generation planning, so that you never go out of stock. You increase your prices, you pause your ads, just stay in stock. Each day is is leading you to drop on your search ranks by 5 to 6 points.
Each day.
More than 2 weeks, yes, more than 2 weeks is actually kicking you off from day one, from page number 1, right? So going out of stock is actually more dangerous than not advertising.
These are some great stats, and I just kicked my dog in the nose. I'm sorry, buddy. I got so excited I kicked my
Not
dog.
gonna be happy.
But but those are
Yeah.
some really great stats. Like that 5%, I haven't heard before.
Oh, I'm
And
gonna send you a report after this, maybe, and
yeah,
and maybe that'll, yeah, with proof. Yeah.
fantastic. So what are some other things? Like you're an Amazonian and dealing with all these brands. Do you have any takeaways, or is there something that you can pass along to brands that dealing with all of these brands that you can shed some light on?
So sorry, what is your question? Is it what
I'm a
would
very
I like?
confusing guy. I mean, just like because you've worked in like with Amazon, you were on the team,
Yeah. Yeah.
and you've worked with so many brands. Are there things that you see that brands are doing, or something, yeah, just working within the Amazon community, that you're going, oh my gosh, this is either they're doing this right or they're doing this so wrong?
Yeah. Yeah. Hmm. So I always have 3 to 4 things that I like to tell brands. The first one is my favorite: do not operate e-commerce in silos. Be more holistic. Look at your inventory data, your competition data, your pricing data, and then take action. Be holistic. We have a KPI board that we're actually going to be dropping on my LinkedIn channel very soon.
Mhm.
I can actually share that with you. It's a KPI board which actually tells an e-commerce head what all things should they be managing or should they be looking at in a weekly meeting, how to make that meeting more holistic. What are those 20 parameters that you should be measuring week on week, which is going to make your meeting more holistic? So that's one. The second thing that I want to tell brands, and it's very hard to make them listen, is bring predictability. So listen to this with a pinch of advertising flavor. So listen to a lot of strategies that are AI driven hourly bid changes, not planned bid changes on advertising, but AI driven changes basis some tacos that brands have defined. What that does to your advertising is it takes away the predictability. Now you have no idea if you want to hit a specific tacos, or if you have to hit a specific, or you have to reduce spend somewhere. What do you need to do? Bring predictability to your advertising by taking lesser number of actions, lesser number of planned actions. So that's my point number two. And predictability is again something that I can talk about so much. Oh my God, I think I will not stop. So you have to stop me now.
Go for it.
um, Number three is keep track of your competition. I think you know how they say keep your friends closer and your enemies even keep your friends close and your enemies closer. Keep track of your competition. So digital shelf is your friend basically. So make sure that you're tracking your competition stocks,
Mm.
make sure that you're tracking your competition's pricing, just every move that they're, making so that you can take advantage of it. So those are my three main
Those are
takeaways.
all very good points.
Yeah, and I think we're building Atom 11 on that. So holistic predictability and make sure that you're keeping your competition close. So we're actually building actionability on top of, let's say, what your competition is doing. So yeah, I think that's something that brands will they should be able to take actionable take actions on those insights, competition insights.
Now, this might be a similar question, but what do you think brands or even agencies need to do right now going into 2020, like Q4 and going into 2024?
Let's take 2024 in phase two, or like in just after this first one.
Mhm.
What do they need to do now as the festive season comes in? Like, is we're so close to the festive season. Um, big, the biggest thing that they need to do right now is make sure that inventories are planned for the next 3 months. This is, I mean, we work 3 quarters for this 1 quarter, right? Like literally everyone, like this is when everything is going to blow up, right? So make sure inventory planning is up to date. You are planning for any spikes that you're not even expecting. So inventory comes first. Build your advertising strategy now. An advertising strategy needs to be built before the event actually starts, because that's when you get to know you look at last year's data, you figure out what kind of pricing did my competition do at the last time. So you kind of do some guesses and you figure out, okay, you know what, this is how my competition is going to price their products. How do I price mine, and how do I position, which products should I position, and how do I position those products in front of the customer so that I can actually get the bonanza sale that I'm hoping for. So that's on the advertising. And then last thing, just keep track of your competition again. The only thing that you can actually see when you're going into a sale event is your bestseller rank and your search rank. So everything else, right, like advertising and everything else, the data is delayed. Search rank and bestseller rank data is not delayed. That data is um, refreshed every hour,
Oh,
right? So make sure that whoever you're doing your digital shelf with, at least during the event days, I mean, we do this for our customers, that at least during the event days, we actually do digital shelf 4x or 5x during the day rather than once a day, right? Because customers need that information so that they can actually take intraday decisions during a sale event. So just plan your sale events because that's when most of the sales are going to happen. Plan your inventories, plan your advertising, and keep track of your competition. Don't forget the competition ever. So I think my last point is always going to be keep track of your competition.
Okay. This goes back to keeping things in inventory. So when I'm talking to one of my clients, I tell them if they notice that all of a sudden there's a jump, it might not be a Q4 jump, but there might be something that have happened. Maybe it's Prime Day, but they are getting extremely low on inventory. So the way that we run inventory, or the way that we suggest our clients run inventory, is they bring their product into a 3PL. The 3PL goes over to Amazon, a portion of it, and then we set up an inventory trigger. We negotiate with the supplier back in China. They put usually a full order in stock with a low deposit fee, so it's ready. So Amazon gets triggered, 3PL ships over to Amazon. The other inventory that's in the warehouse goes onto the water, and then the order goes into the supplier. But if it's a quick turnaround, I always say, unless it's a huge product, like if they're pretty oversized, this could be costly. But for the most part, I always tell people, air a portion of it while your product's on the water, because I don't care what it costs. It's going to cost me way more if it goes out of rank, or if it goes out of stock.
Yes. Yeah.
And I'd rather take the hit, even though it might be, a few grand more than what I would normally pay. But I want that product in just a buffer until it comes in on the water. Now, would you agree with doing something like that?
And how does that those kind of things, so we actually, so my scope basically actually ends at the point where we tell you that you need inventory, but I'm curious to hear.
Mhm.
So um how do you get that? Like, you say that you send two shipments, the first shipment much before the second one, or the bulk one, is that what you're saying?
Um, yeah. So the product that's over at the supplier's warehouse. So once Amazon runs out, we ship over from our fulfillment center. So we keep about 2 months to two and a half
Oh,
months stock in Amazon. But once the trigger hits, then we inform our supplier to send it by water over to Amazon. So we've got about a month to 6 weeks give. So we still have a fairly good buffer. But all of a sudden, we start to see a trend, and our inventory is getting close to being out. We'll take whatever we think the
yes.
amount is to cover off. We'll air it over and have the rest of the shipment put on to a container, send it over, and then we've solved that problem. But it is
Yeah.
going to cost you more money, um,
Yeah.
but you're not gonna lose your rank.
Yeah. So I think I was just forming an opinion too. I think it depends, right? Who is this customer? If this is a market leader customer, then absolutely. And
Mhm.
you, Norm, have worked with Fortune 500. I mean, you still do, right? So
Yeah.
Fortune 500s, yes, absolutely. Like, um they cannot afford to lose ranks. Each day is actually a loss of share of voice, and market leaders, actually, for them, more than profitability on online sales, more than all of that, share of voice is one of the most important parameters. So losing search rank is actually going to be pretty detrimental. But if it is a challenger brand, or if it's a brand which is new in the market, then I think they will, then that's it's a cash flow thing. And so I think it depends on the cash flow situation also, whether this is something that they can do.
Right.
I mean, in those cases, a challenger, or a newer brand would probably have to err on the side of acting faster rather than taking a cash flow hit.
Yeah, that's true. It does depend on your cash flow. It all comes down to cash flow. So
Yeah. Well,
number
but
number
market leaders
one,
can, yeah, exactly. But I think the market leaders, they do not have an excuse, right? They need to um, do whatever it takes to make sure that inventories are in on time and they are not losing search of share of voice.
Okay. Now we are at the bottom of the hour. I am getting coffee. Thank you. Always like hot coffee.
Yeah, you're a Canadian.
I am a Canadian. So at the bottom of the hour, in case this is the first time you're listening to the podcast, we have something called the Wheel of Kelsey. And that's where we give a giveaway at the top of the hour every podcast. So if you want to enter, it's very simple. It's hashtag Wheel of Kelsey. That's why you see that in the comment section. And if you tag two people, you'll get a second entry. And we've got a great giveaway to you today. So what's the giveaway today?
Okay, so Atom 11, which is a holistic e-commerce management software, for three lucky winners today, you get 1 month of free trial for Atom 11. And the good news is that, I mean, even better news is that the people who can use Atom 11 can be either vendors or sellers. So Atom 11 works for both. I think someone's asking you whether you're Canadian.
Matthew. Yes, Matthew, I'm Canadian.
So yes, and so Atom 11 works for both vendors as well as sellers. So I mean, hit it up if you are a lucky winner. It doesn't matter whether you're a vendor or seller.
So one thing I wanted, and this is going to go into my next question. I was going to say this after the break, but why is Atom 11 different? There's so many other tools
Yes.
out there. There are a ton of PPC tools. Why are you different?
Yeah. So let's see where we are today, right? The Okay, let me just start with some motivation. Why did I start, right?
Mhm.
Um, when I was at Amazon, I used to go to a lot of events, seller events, and in one such event, there was this one toy brand that walked up to me and said, "Hey, I've been increasing my spends on Amazon for the last 6 months, but my sales are not growing. Okay, I've been spending a lot on advertising. I've been spending on Amazon commissions. Spends are increasing, sales are not increasing." And at that time, when advertising had just started, we were not used to such questions. People were used to come and say, "Hey, advertising just changed our lives," so on and so forth. So this was the first time it really hit us. And sadly, the frequency of these questions have actually grown in the last few years because of the cost of advertising on Amazon. So when I came back from this event, I actually looked up this brand, and I kind of figured out why was this brand not growing. And I found two very outside of advertising reasons of why they were not growing. Their delivery timelines were very high. They were delivering their product in 7 days,
Mm.
suicidal. They were pushing products on advertising which had a very low organic conversion rate. So anyway, the product is not selling. They were trying to increase sales velocity by trying to advertise things. Now, just looking at that, right? What it told me was that sales is what brands want, and sales depends on so many different things, and advertising is just one component of it. It depends, like I said, it starts with your product, your content quality, your reviews, your ratings, your inventory, your competition, your pricing, and then your advertising also, right? So there are just so many parameters that actually impact sales. And the customer that I'm talking to is only interested in sales. So why are there siloed tools which are only helping you do one thing, like only advertising automation or only inventory planning, right? You need something which is a co-pilot to you, which sits right next to you and tells you that, hey, um, your competition is out of stock. Do you want to A, increase your pricing, B, increase your advertising spends, C, do something else, right? I mean, we're in 2024 almost, and there are driverless cars coming in, and we're kind of mostly stuck with workflow automation solutions, right? What we need, or what brands need, is the next level of e commerce management which goes, takes a seat next to you, understands what your products are. You could have seasonal products, you could have commodity products, you could have non commodity products, you could have products which or a brand with 100,000 SKUs, a brand with 25 SKUs. You could just be anyone, but the co-pilot needs to understand your brand and then give you suggestions so that you can increase sales. So, hey, Adam 11, how do I increase my sales? The solution actually spits out information saying this product can be advertised more, this um, um, product needs to be in inventory more, so on and so forth, right? So that was the whole motivation of building Atom 11, that take the next step when it comes to automation softwares for Amazon. Be a co-pilot rather than a workflow automation system. And a co-pilot is actually going to help you navigate through surprises that come in every single day. And you know, every day there is a new surprise. Your sales are fluctuating, competition did something. It kind of helps you navigate that.
Okay.
Now, I think we had a very three-step approach. Aggregate data, analyze the data. The machine analyzes the data and then tells you what to do, and then you can automate those actions. So I think the philosophy of aggregate, analyze, automate is what we are going and launching.
Okay, AAA approach.
Yes,
So
AAA.
like we were so I wanted everybody to know that because this 1 month will allow you to have this co-pilot, and 3 lucky winners are going to have that. So hashtag Wheel of Kelsey, tag 2 people, and you'll get a entry. Now, questions. We've got the expert on the line. So if you have any PPC questions, make sure you throw them in there. I know we have one, but let's get a couple more going. If not, I'm just going to be continuing to ask questions after the break. So let's have a word from our sponsor and we'll come right back. This episode of Lunch with Norm is sponsored by VAA Philippines. Looking for a high quality virtual assistant for your business? With the rigorous screening, intensive Amazon and Walmart training, and ongoing professional development, get the peace of mind with skill and motivated virtual assistants for a long-term working relationship. Hire through VAA today. And now let's get back to the show. Okay, we are back. I've got a couple more questions. And again, if you have any questions, just throw them into the comment section, or if you have any comments about PPC. All right. So we now understand your vision, but what are you solving today?
Yeah,
And how is the roadmap? How is your roadmap shaping up?
yeah. So the MVP, or the version 1 that has gone out, is
Mhm.
where we have addressed the first two A's. Sorry, we have addressed two A's. One is the aggregation part. So we actually bring data from retail, inventory, pricing, um, everything, return rates, um, advertising, and digital shelf together in one place. So, in one dashboard, you see everything there is about your business, and you can correlate your sales with your advertising or with your inventory, your pricing, so on and so forth. Or if you want to correlate your bestseller ranks with any of those parameters, you could do that. So, that's the aggregation part. The second thing that we're already automating or bringing in is the automation part. So you can actually use this data and now start automating your advertising. We will start giving you alerts for your inventory, so on and so forth. So the aggregation and the automation is available today. The analytics part, which is where we will do the analytics and we will, or the machine will do the analytics and tell you that this is what you need to do, is something that we've just started building. So whoever actually is starting to come in now, or our customers, they're actually helping us with their insights on, hey, you know what, can you start with alerts on something and then start adding data to it, right? So those are the kind of things that are now starting to happen. But already you have custom reporting. You can actually literally drag and drop reports or any part of any metric that you want in rows and columns and however you want to visualize this is visualize it. So that kind of custom reporting, you can actually export your data into Google Sheets and take it to a Power BI and analyze it the way you want, and then use that to just automate anything in your PPC. So PPC automation as well as analytics is already available to you.
Even though you've got this machine learning app, does the seller, do they still have the ability to do any manual campaigns?
Oh, they can do anything they want on, sorry, so they can do whatever campaigns they want, whether automatic campaigns or manual campaigns. Oh, are you saying machine learning for advertising?
Yes.
Okay, so we actually have a slightly different view when it comes to advertising machine learning. So we right now it's everything manual. So you can create rules and then run your advertising. Machine learning is something that comes in step two or in phase
Oh,
two.
okay. I see.
Yeah, we're actually early. I mean, a pretty early company, about a year old, and I think a lot has been built within that year. So I think machine learning is something that kind of comes now,
All
like
right.
just the second phase. Yeah.
Okay. That's when ChatGPT 5 comes out.
Hopefully.
Yeah. All right. So, what advice do you have for Amazon brands looking to optimize their marketplace management or increase sales and profitability?
um I'm going to stick to my holistic advice, always. I think uh the minute you start looking at data uh, outside of advertising before taking advertising decisions, you're already halfway ahead of literally all your competitors. Very few people, very few, they actually look at why they are actually taking an action on a specific bid, or why they are taking an action on a specific budget or a keyword. It's very because advertising is hard, it's in itself, right? I mean, there are just so many parameters, so you're all just kind of lost within the bids up and down. But look at the data, you can set in rules. For example, on Atom 11 you can actually set in rules, something like, hey, if my organic rank is greater than 15, just increase my bids, right? So just set up those rules, but spend more time figuring out what your strategy is. Why are you, when do you want to go ballistic on ads? And when do you want to stay back or stand back and just watch? I think that is the strategy that a lot of us, and I'm not saying we don't do it because we don't want to, it's just the time, right? So using automation softwares, who actually take a seat next to you and help you build those strategies out, um, are worth it when it comes to you spending that money. And
Right. Okay. So, I think we've got a bunch of questions that came in, Kels. Now you're on the firing seat, by the way. My questions were easy.
Uh,
always ready.
okay, so for our first question, this one's from Neil. When Amazon recommends a PPC bid price, should we listen? Should we bid more than they recommend, and how much more?
So I think you will probably get an answer on the when I answer the first part of your question itself, which is when Amazon recommends a PPC bid price, should we listen? I'm not going to talk about the algos that go into the PPC bid price suggestion. That'll be confidential. But let me talk about my experience. That will help you. I have seen Amazon suggesting a very high bid price for something where I have gotten impressions, clicks, as well as sales at like 1/5 the price. This is my experience.
I'm
I'm
not
not going to
looking
talk
into it. I am not looking into the confidential part. I'm just,
just, and I think you would have seen too, right? So suggested bids is maybe when you're starting out, or the first campaign that you're making, maybe that's a good starting point for you, because at this point you're a blank slate, right? You just don't know when to start. And of course there are formulas to get you started, but when a person is just starting out their advertising, the first 3-4 months are intimidating. Amazon has helped you get a starting point, but beyond that, um, I don't trust the suggested.
Okay. Next question.
All right, next question is from AMZ Elite. How do you advertise my own branded watches? I see most of the competitors just target big designer watch brands in their PPC using Cerebro, and all competitors rank high on these terms.
How do I advertise my own branded watches? Okay. Whenever I have, and this is just again my experience, a lot of it depends. If I actually get to see your account, I will probably be able to help you better. But I think I'll tell you what I do when I'm just starting out with new products. Or what do I suggest when someone is just starting out with new products? Um, Two things. One, category targeting is your best friend. So what you can do is go to brand analytics, top search terms, and look at products which are high click share but very low conversion share. So these are products where customers are coming to their pages but they're not buying. So this is something that actually works. Again, I'm just going to call it out because I have my playbooks built according to AOVs and type of brand. This strategy only and only works for high AOV products. So I'm not sure if your branded watches are high AOV. The strategy of competition targeting and only targeting products which are high click share but very low conversion share works great when you have a high AOV. Um, so do that. If you have a lower AOV, then basically go for product page placements rather than top of search and rest of search. Product page placements, they get a lot of impressions. They will get you started well, rather than you paying up a lot of money upfront for TOS or for ROS, which, like you said, that competitors are already ranking high in terms of that. So I don't want to waste that money. Product pages, especially now, I mean, congratulations to you, right? Amazon just launched a percentage bid adjustment on product pages. So that's something that you can really use. Um, and again, if I had known more about the kind of AOV, so on and so forth. Okay, so that is a mid-ish AOV. I think you can still try it. I mean, it's not less than $25, right? Which is the benchmark.
Right.
So it's a higher AOV than that. Why don't you go ahead and try the brand analytics conversion strategy? This is something that we have tried so many times with so many brands and always seen good results.
Hmm.
Only the
Okay.
high.
Next question.
All right, we have two more questions left. This one's from Neil. When first launching a new product, should we run manual or automatic PPC campaigns? For manual, should we just do keyword targeting, product targeting, or both? Should we use Amazon suggested keywords or enter our own list?
Amazon automated campaigns are literally your best friends when you're just starting out. Um, they give you keywords and products um, that you would not even have thought of. They start giving you impressions on those keywords that you would probably not have done yourself. So two things. One, launch an automated catch all campaign. A catch all campaign does exactly that. It catches all. It catches all the keywords that are necessary or are relevant to your products. So basically, a catch all campaign, I hope, I'm not sure if I'm repeating it, but a catch all campaign is literally all your campaigns in one, all your products in one campaign at a very, very low bid, like cents. right? So just catch all the search terms that you can, add throwaway bids, and then start your manual campaign. Amazon will give you ample information about where is your product relevant, where is your product not relevant, so on and so forth. Because if you only rely on brand analytics or Cerebro or just any of those, right? Like you will miss out. You will miss out on an important keywords or products where your product is converting well. So I
Okay.
think the first part of your question was, should I do automatic or manual? Um, I
What was
just
the
forgot
second
the
part,
second part.
Kels?
The second part was for manual, should we just do keyword targeting, product targeting, or both? Should we use Amazon's suggested keywords or enter our own
Yeah,
list?
I only recommend, and this is just me. I think this is, everyone has their preferences. I only suggest product targeting when your AOVs are high. I suggest keyword targeting when you're actually at both AOVs, high as well as low. Product targeting only when high. So it depends now on your AOVs, as to what do you like, if product targeting is going to suit you.
Okay. Last question.
All right, last question from DripFit. What are the monthly plans and pricings look like for Adam 11?
Okay. So we I mean it depends on your advertising spends. And it it'll be around somewhere around the 1.5 to 2% mark, depending on your advertising spends.
Okay. All right.
And by the way, I also wanted to call out that this is a very similar pricing to what you will see for a lot of advertising automation. But in this price, you're actually getting analytics as well as automations for advertising. And this analytics is analytics where you can actually, like, your retail analytics, something that you can also do custom reporting on. So,
Okay, very good. Before we get to the wheel, just a quick comment. If you've never heard of the Wheel of Kelsey, the first time listening, we give a prize at the end, at the top, just in a few minutes now. And the prize today, there's three actually. Each person will get 1 month free to try out Adam 11. So if you're interested, it's hashtag Wheel of Kelsey. Tag two people, you get a second entry, and we'll be doing that in about 30 seconds. But let's talk about contact information. How can people contact you?
so they write to me directly, at Neha at atom11.co. I can drop it in. Um, or you can go to our website and just sign up now. So there's a sign up now button, and it'll just help you sign up a meeting with me directly.
Okay. And that is adam11.co, not com.
.co. Oh my God. Thank you for
Yeah.
calling that out. It is .co. So if it goes to neha@adam11.com, I will not get your email. I'm sorry. So it's .co.
All right. Okay. So I guess I'm doing a live read, right, Kels?
That is correct.
I think I've got to go and record this because this is going
all right.
on. It's the same script. So here I go. We're talking about seller basics. Hey, Amazon sellers, ever faced account suspensions, ASIN hiccups, or IP headaches? Introducing Seller Basics, your Amazon account guardian. With just $99 per month, Seller Basic offers a dedicated team to shield your business from these challenges. Plus, this membership offers free legal consultation from seasoned e-commerce attorneys. No long-term contracts, cancel with just a month's notice. View Seller Basics as your Amazon account's health plan. Check it out at sellerbasics.com. And here's a disclaimer: Seller Basics isn't an insurer or law firm. Consultations come from independent firms. Results can vary. Memberships needed before events leading to claims, and terms apply. That's it. And you can check it out. Paul is awesome. So just go to paul@lawfirm.com as well if you want to talk to him directly. Okay. So I think that's it. And I gave out Paul's wrong number. Can you throw that up there, Kels? It's Paul at something law.
Okay, I'll be posting that in the comments.
All right, very good. Okay, so let's go to the wheel.
It's time for the Wheel of Kelsey.
Okay, wow, we got a lot of people today
All right.
and three
So
chances to win.
Yeah, we're going to spin this 3 times. Let's see who the winners are today. We do this every single podcast, so make sure you come back Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern time. We got Woot.
Okay, congratulations, Woot.
And 2 more. If you are
I
the
think
winner,
that's a
please-
one-time winner, a first-time winner.
Oh,
All right, congratulations, Jan and Tata.
yay.
And our last one. Let's see. Make sure you email me, kate@lunchwithnorm.com. Does
Is it
Trip
Drip?
get it? No.
Oh,
Legendary Studio.
Legendary Studio.
That's awesome.
All right. So make sure you email me, kate@lunchwithnorm.com to receive your prize. And thank you, everyone, for it.
Okay, well, thank you so much for coming on. I know it's taking a little bit of time to get you on.
No. Yes, a month and a half precisely. But
So-
I just absolutely loved being here. It was just you made me like it's just at home, right? It's just a chit chat and
Just like, want more great information? Don't forget to subscribe by clicking here. Also, if you want to check out our latest podcast, click over here.
Lunch with Neha.